Hold on. Chris needs some ball pullers in Springfield.
Yeah, if you're coming out to our Springfield shows, want to pull Adam's balls, send an email to questions@adamcarolla.com with ball puller Springfield in the subject line and a little bit about yourself.
All right. So that'll be coming up 15th, 16th. What do you got, Gina?
Well, we have more information, of course. I'm sure it'll be coming out little by little every day about this dipshit in Chicago that killed all those people at the Highland Park parade. So he has been charged with 7 counts of first-degree murder related to the death of the victims. Because we had originally said 6, now a 7th has died. The New York Times reports that the victims range in age from 8 years old to 85 years old. Authorities believe that the suspect spent weeks planning the shooting spree, and it's not the first time he's been in trouble with the law. Back in April 2019, a family member did tell police that this guy had planned to, quote, kill everyone. At the time, the police took 16 knives, a dagger, and a sword from him, but he wasn't charged in that incident. But I guess that's sort of the red flag law working?
No.
I mean they took his stuff at the time.
Do we know? Oh, sorry about that. Do we know after that he acquired his weapon?
He apparently acquired it legally, so maybe it was a step in the right direction, but it didn't go far enough, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he had, when I said yesterday that he had put on women's clothing to blend in, that was specifically to blend in as the chaos ensued, as everyone was running away.
Well, to me, there goes the insanity defense. Like if you were shrewd enough to bring ladies' clothing with you and plan that out, we do. Well, of course he's nuts. Look at the crime he committed. And I would go, I'll agree with that. But also, he's very functional and capable if he planned out and was able to bring women's clothing.
Yeah.
I've been hearing more and more, and it's kind of interesting, about pot and marijuana and just how prevalent it is with a lot of these cases. We don't really... So we're a weird society. So what we do is we go, there's a shooting, and then we go red flag laws, and we go gun control, and we go, we got to harden targets. We got to get those school doors locked or whatever it is. We have like 3, like a pitchfork. We got to pick our 3 lanes. No one talks about the copious amounts of weed a lot of these guys have been smoking from a very young age, and other pharmaceuticals that they're on as well. And like I heard Alex Berenson, who's a Substack guy now, he got booted off Twitter, and I think he just got brought back, and maybe he sued and maybe they settled or whatever. He was kind of early money on COVID. He was early money on weed and teenage boys and like psychosis and violence. Yes. Yeah, we've talked to him a couple times. He wrote a book, I think, in 2019, because I believe his wife was a neuroclinical psychologist or something like that. And she started saying to him, he was a New York Times guy. Weed wasn't his beat, but his wife kept saying, I'm talking to all these young males, and they've been smoking a lot of weed and eating a lot of weed, and the weed is not the weed of our youth. It's not the shake and the leaves and stuff. It is the THC level is through the fucking roof. It's super potent. And these guys start smoking when they're 14, and it's a wake and bake type situation. And it's weird because I've always said, there's a lot of mythology around weed. And I always thought, weed, laid back, stoner, pineapple express. Yeah. But then you think about it, the guys running the streets doing the gangbanging smoke tons and tons of weed and are more than happy to pull out a pistol and just start shooting it out in the streets of Chicago, right? Like and now weed's ubiquitous, and we did some weird thing with weed. It's kind of like the opposite of what we did with cigarettes. Like we demonized cigarettes, and we sort of turned weed into a lifestyle. It became almost like surfing. I always say, like, surfing it's not really a sport. It's kind of a way of life. It's a lifestyle brand. A lot of these guys are smoking tons of weed, have been smoking tons of weed. Alex Berenson was saying years ago, this is fucking with their young, developing brains. Why wouldn't it? By the way, how could you be that altered for that long? I mean, a bong load or an edible of like today's weed will alter you big time. You can do it almost any time. I think we could all agree if someone was at 15 waking up and having a few shots of whiskey before heading out for the day, like that would be no good. There's going to be a weed thing that's going to come of a lot of this stuff. And for some reason, our society was so busy arguing for legalizing and decriminalizing and getting the taxes made off of this crop that we're not really into going after. We're not really going after weed. It's a big element in these cases.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, when you clarify that it's not the weed of yesteryear, you're absolutely right. And it's fucking crazy. But I'm wondering, like with alcohol, we got those hard and fast rules, 21 and up, baby. And so how do we deal with that? And does it even make a difference? But how do we deal with that in terms of teenage boys?
My feeling is I've always said, and there's also kind of a weird thing, like we have certain subjects, like, well, don't get on the wrong side of weed. Like Alex Berenson did a book on weed being dangerous, and he was pilloried, you know, like, it's like, I don't know. I'm saying it affects you. It alters you. If we can have all the energy in the world for nicotine, which is completely inert and harmless. Like nicotine's like caffeine. You know, cigarettes are bad for you, but nicotine is not bad for you.
It's the formaldehyde that's added.
Or whatever. There's theories, but the point is we got all the energy in the world to keep the kids off. You know, we're going to get rid of the vaping, and we're going to have a lot of laws, and then it's just a big campaign about this is not sexy and blah blah blah. Going to have to start working weed a little bit because. Weed has a great publicist, and cigarettes do not. But there's going to be some causation thing. There's going to be some links going back to this.
Never ever would have guessed weed would be a cause or an influence in this in any way, but here we are.
Well,
is there data to back this up?
Yeah. There's definitely, I don't know, Chris can look in it. Berenson is not a Johnny come lately. Like when he gets into something, he digs in. And he wrote this book it was probably 3 years ago or 4 years ago or something like that. And so if he's talking about it, he always does his homework
and
on
he's
this
talking
stuff.
Specifically about these past shooters.
No, he kind of predates it. I don't know. You can look at it,
I just mean, did
Chris,
he come back and be like, told you so?
He is. Well, he's saying a lot of young dudes smoking a lot of high octane weed, and they're getting psychotic.
Got it.
And it's dangerous.
Got it.
And that's not one of the elements. We're looking at, gun laws and stuff. But all right, the gun is the tool, but why are these fucking guys psychotic?
Right. And we're talking males 14 to 25, I would imagine.
Yes,
most at risk. It's
basically between pharmaceuticals and weed, a lot of these guys got a lot of shit. I mean, it's I don't know, the old Dr. Drew, no free lunch adage. Like, you're not getting up at 15 and ingesting something and feeling high, and it's not affecting your brain and your development and your functioning. It's impossible. If you're altered, you're altered, and you're spending a lot of time in a state that's altered.
Legitimate question, because I don't know the answer. Is our weed more potent or in some way different than the rest of the weed that's in the rest of the world? Because we're the only ones to be plagued by this.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't know.
Might not be Go ahead.
I don't know if we consume more than others. I don't know. We should figure out what Jamaica's up there.
Then that would blow out my theory. But my suspicion is it's not the party drug of choice in other countries like it is here. I mean, maybe Amsterdam, but
I'm just looking at amount consumed.
That's what I'm curious too. That's a good question.
The book's from 2019, and it's a published study. Marijuana is more dangerous than you think. As legislation spreads, more Americans are becoming heavy users of cannabis despite its link to violence and mental illness. I'm just saying.
No idea.
It's a funny Dennis Prager thing, but most parents, certainly around here, would be way more upset if their kids smoked cigarettes that smoked weed.
100%.
100%. And I'm saying we fucking got it backwards, people. You would much rather have your kids smoke cigarettes than weed. The book title's called Tell Your Children the Truth About Marijuana, Mental Illness, and Violence. I think we're going to start seeing it come out.
Interesting.
All right.
Here's a very famous person who claims to have been suffering from something which is either very real or the world's best excuse, and we should all adopt it. If you meet Brad Pitt twice and he doesn't recognize you or remember you, you apparently shouldn't be offended. He's revealed in his new interview with GQ magazine that he's pretty sure he suffers from prosopagnosia, which is face blindness.
Oh, I want that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of high amounts of weed,
The condition,
could have something to do with it.
it's believed to be caused by problems with the part of the brain that controls facial perception and memory, rendering those who have it routinely unable to recognize faces that they see more than once. Pitt says that no one believes he has it, and he fears he comes off as aloof and self-absorbed at parties and social gatherings because of it. He hasn't been formally diagnosed, but he's discussed it in the past. He talked about it in 2013 with Esquire, and he worries that people hate him because they think he's basically disrespecting them by kind of like big timing them. Like, who are you again? And that he says, I'd rather stay home than just keep dealing with this.
It could be that he's aloof. It could be that he smokes a ton of weed. It could also be that Brad Pitt probably has more different people coming in and out of his life than all the rest of us combined.
Yeah, but
if he's on a movie set, he's meeting 300 people a day.
But that would be an excuse, or that would be we'd all agree. We'd be like, yeah, we get it. But this guy's like, you don't get it for 10 years, because that's when the first interview came out. He's like, I don't recognize people, and it doesn't behoove me to go out in public anymore.
Were we talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah, you mentioned
Did I bring that up
yesterday.
yesterday? So just to make my point for my clinical diagnoses of this, if you said to me, have you ever interviewed him or met him? I'd go, absolutely not. 100% no. But Gio has to tell me. He was on Love Line. He was a big K-Rock fan. He came on and you guys hit it off.
10 things ahead about
right.
you.
It's just the way you can only have. You can memorize, 10 numbers in your phone book. But once you make good friends with 1,500 people, sorry.
You know what I always say when I'm not sure if I've met them before? Instead of it's nice to meet you, whatever, I always say, nice to see you.
Oh, my God. Yeah,
Again?
I had
it's
that.
always nice to see you.
I had to correct that. Yeah, that's what happened with me and Janine Garofalo.
Uh-oh. What did you do to disrespect Janine?
I told her it was nice to meet her, and she told me she'd been on the show 3 times. So I changed it to nice to see you.
There you go. I do that too.
But, yes. Who was, God.
What do you want to know?
The Dodgers first baseman.
Sean Green.
Sean Green.
Going to the game tonight.
Good. Say hi to Sean.
Okay. Oh, yeah. This was uncomfortable.
That was Dumbo Drew. I'm sitting in the other room.
Context.
He's wearing flip-flops and shorts. First of all, I don't know Sean Green. I saw him at Dodger Celebrity All-Star Night or something when he was playing for the Dodgers in a Dodger uniform. And Drew just walked him right out of the studio, and he set him up right in front of me. I was sitting down, and he went, "You remember this guy, right?" And I looked at him.
6'2", skinny, big-eared white guy.
I was like, I went, it was literally, I went, "I'm so sorry. Hold on. No, I don't. Drew, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? What do you mean? He's not a friend. I saw him 11 years ago he was standing next to Tommy Lasorda in a uniform. No, I don't know who he is. You remember him, right?"
I hate to say it, but I know he meant well. Dawson did this to me the other day.
Oh, no.
In the parking lot. He's out there having a conversation after the show. We're all leaving. I'm going to my car. He goes, "Hey, this guy's got a documentary playing tonight at the film festival. You want to go?" Maybe. No. Should I? No. What? No. And he's like, no worries. No, I know you meant well, but it was hey, this guy. And it turns out it was Doug Loud, right?
Yeah.
Sure, buddy. I know fucking idea
defend
where he
himself,
was.
but he's knee deep into a sandwich right now.
It was an afterthought inviting Brian. He walked out while I was inviting Gina.
Said.
So
that's right.
What else are you going to do?
I appreciate it.
And I'm actually glad Brian brought that up, because Oh, nothing. Doug won the film festival,
I
and
know.
we really need to have him on to talk about it.
And I do want to see
Now,
the
now Brian asked me, can I get a screener?
I do want to see
Yeah,
it.
dude. I'll get right on that, bro.
What sandwich are we eating today? Is it a
That's
homemade
a
one?
homemade shrimp po' boy.
Oh my God! Save those tails for Maxipata.
NFA, my man.
NFA.
NFA.
Not fucking around.
Yeah.
What?
Did you deep fry it?
How do you do that? Look, first off, a homemade sandwich is fine. You know, smoked turkey and ham and all that kind of stuff. Most people don't get into the shrimp.
No, this is
on
artisan.
the homemade.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I wanted a sandwich. I opened up my freezer. I saw a bag of shrimp, those frozen shrimps. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm going to have a shrimp sando.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And you got to cook it,
Did you batter it, or this is like saute?
Saute and olive oil, butter, and garlic.
Oh boy.
What kind of bun?
It's a hoagie roll.
Oh, okay.
And what else?
And then, but the trick is on the hoagie roll, you got to grill that with butter.
Yeah.
So then
Toast
you
it up
cut
a
it
little.
open, you toast it with butter.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But then it's just mayo, a little horseradish, salt and pepper,
Yeah.
and yeah,
That was
I'm getting
good.
hungry.
good stuff. I don't have any cayenne though.
No.
I would have brought you some.
All right. Sorry. Where were we, Gina?
Chris just sent me a little link to a Twitter update from both Macy Gray and Bette Midler. So let's give a little moment to that.
I
think
Now,
you'll be
there's-
pleased with one of them.
There's part of me that realizes the only way out of this chapter we're in is to have everyone go fuck yourself with the apologies, because it works immediately, because you get on it. Here's how I know. I say horrific things all day, every day, and no one has ever asked me to apologize.
Yeah.
That's all. So
They
when
know
the
better.
LA Teachers Union fucks with you, you just fucking clap back at them, and then you get on a list,
Yeah.
and you enter the list of people who don't apologize. And if we can grow that list and shrink the list of apologizers, then we could get through this time.
Out of Bette Midler and Macy Gray, who do you think said fuck off?
It's hard to get a read on Macy Gray because it's hard to tell really what's going on with her. Bette is more fiery, but she's also more woke and cares more.
I can see Bette thinking she made a mistake, whereas Macy was just speaking her mind and even doubled down in the interview. So I say she said fuck off.
Okay.
Who do you have? So you have,
Macy said fuck off.
I'll go the opposite.
Okay. Well, this is the tweet, and I'll reveal who said it. All of you coming on my page threatening me and calling me names just because I said something you don't agree with, be whatever you want to be and fuck off. That is from Macy Gray.
Oh, God bless her.
Bette's reaction was, people of the world! Exclamation point. My tweet about women was a response to this fascinating and well-written piece in the New York Times.
Can I fucking say this for a second? I would love, as a owner of a freshly minted, with the new cock and ball smell set of genitalia, I would love to just be a spokesperson for the men of the world. Like these cunts are
You did
all
have
the
a
time.
show called The Man
Hey,
Show.
ladies, here's what I'm going to say. International spokesperson, because I got a cock and balls, you got a pussy and some fucking areolas. And I just love the fact there's more women on the planet than there are men on the planet. Who are these people we've anointed? Hey, we got the ladies of The View. They're speaking for all the ladies. We got Bette Midler. She speaks for the ladies of the world. Must be fucking
Lorax.
nice.
Yeah.
It's not like it's some small indigenous Indian tribe you belong to. And you go, as a Pepperfoot, my great-grandmother, it's everyone, Bette. Go to a fucking Whole Foods. There's more chicks than there are dudes. We'll go get in a car and look around. You can just speak for the lady. We're under attack or we're going to celebrate. Like, the fuck you think how insanely grandiose it is to sort of like, I speak for, I mean, it's super obnoxious when you're black. It's super obnoxious when you're Latino. It's super obnoxious when you're Asian. It's super obnoxious just to speak for whole groups of humanity. So, God, can we just shut the fuck up.
That'd be
Sorry, go
nice.
ahead.
She said, "People of the world, my tweet about women was a response to the fascinating and well-written piece in the New York Times on July 3rd. There was no intention of anything exclusionary or transphobic in what I said. It wasn't about that. And the name of the piece was an opinion piece. The far right and far left agree on one thing: women don't count."
The far right
And the far left agree on one thing. Which, so I'm very... my curiosity has been tempted to read this because I'm trying to think I know what the angle is, but how do they get there?
Look, whether you count or not will be up to you and your behavior and your contributions. There's men who don't count. There's men who do count. There's women who don't, women who do. It's all up to you. Not like you don't count
Well
or you
said.
do count. It's fucking go out and do something that's count worthy. All right, one more. We got
Dracula
Gina
would
Carano,
agree.
who does speak for all women waiting in the wings.
And rightly so. Let's see. Let's do one more. You know what? I've been sitting on this just because whatever, but we had mentioned him a few times in the last week or so. So did you know that Danny Bonaduce had fallen very ill with a mystery illness?
I had heard that.
Yeah, he's getting better. He has a health update. And this bizarre picture of him looking normal is very jarring to me, and I don't like it. We're looking at right now, there's no tight t-shirt, the long hair. He looks like a normal dude, and it's very unnerving.
He looks frail.
Yeah. He'd been suffering from a mystery illness that left him unable to walk and struggling to speak. And now he's returning back to work in Seattle on the radio. In an interview with Good Morning America, he said that his wife noticed he was slurring and speaking gibberish. She said, literally, "That's not English. What you're saying is not English." Bonaduce says he underwent tests while in the hospital. He didn't have a stroke, but he didn't get a diagnosis. He says he couldn't walk or keep his balance. And we're looking at a picture with him with a cane. And he was slurring so bad he couldn't remember anything. He left the radio show in April, but has since returned and seems to be recovering from nobody knows.
Well, Danny's an easy guy to make fun of, but he's a good dude.
He is a good dude.
And we're always kind of rooting for him.
Yeah. So if we find out what in the hell this was, I'll keep you posted.
All right, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Women don't count. Oh, boy.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.
Now, I checked to make sure he didn't walk out the
Right.
gate. I go look around the dog run, ironically, see if he's convalescing. No Phil to be found.
Uh-oh.
I go, where the hell is Phil?
Is he a planter of some sort?
No. He got back into the Tesla.
Of course.
And so I said to Chris, oh, shit, he's in the Tesla. All right, get him out of the Tesla. And Chris goes, he yacked in the Tesla.